Hi guys, quick update. Israel warns of attacks on Russian air defense systems in Syria if used against its warplanes. So remember the report I published yesterday saying that Russia was saying there'll be catastrophic consequences if Israel attacked its S300 systems. So Israel's defense minister said on Tuesday, today or yesterday now, that his country would attack Russian S300 air defense systems in Syria if they were used against Israeli targets. And his remarks came a day after Russian newspaper Kommersant reported that Moscow could soon start to deliver S300 systems to its allies. As I've reported yesterday, they already have, and cited a source's warning of catastrophic consequences if they were attacked. What's important to us is that the defense weapons the Russians are giving Syria won't be used against us. If they're used against us, we'll act against them. Russia and Syria signed an accord in 2010 for the S300 system, but the missiles have not been delivered because of Israeli pressure. That has now been lifted due to Israel attacking the T4 Iranian base after the alleged chemical attacks. So each step produces another step. And obviously now we've got Israel saying that they will attack the S300 systems if the S300 systems attack them. And obviously that would be if Israel was attacking, I guess, Iranian bases in Syria. And that is all just in line with Iran, angry about the deaths of some of its personnel, wanting to retaliate. Israel knowing that that's going to happen at some point in the future. It could be Israel's Independence Day, May the 14th, conveniently would tie in with the opening of the embassy. At the same time, there would be other things going on, I'm pretty sure, in terms of, North Korea and China. But we'll see as stories unfold as it gets closer. And that just ties in with the Iran nuclear deal, where Donald Trump is basically saying to Iran if they restart their nuclear program, they will pay. And the only way I can see Iran openly restarting their nuclear program is if Donald Trump either pulls out of the deal before May 12th or May 12th rolls around and the deadline for the deal to be, recertified is passed and it then just, becomes nothing. Or if they try and pile on sanctions, which is exactly what President Macron and Donald Trump were discussing when President Macron came to visit Donald Trump. Pile on some more sanctions instead of, ripping up the nuclear deal, get the support of the EU and do like North Korea and put on more sanctions. But I don't think Iran's going to stand for that. I think they've said as much. So either way, if the nuclear deal is ripped up or changed in any way, or sanctions are piled on top of the nuclear deal, Iran will probably just go ahead and openly restart its nuclear program, which obviously would bring a response from, people like Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. But as I said before, I think Iran already have nuclear weapons. I think they've somehow managed to develop them quietly and have them, ready, waiting. We've already talked about the Uranium One deal, where the U.S. uranium mining facilities were sold to Russia, and Russia is Iran's ally and could have easily just given them to Iran the same way they're giving their S300 air defense systems to Syria. In that way, it serves Russia's interests. They get to have their allies increase their weaponry, increase their artillery, get more advanced technology at the same time as, creating this axis to kind of move forward. And they already kind of showed us in the sense in which way they can move forward when it came to, annexing part of Ukraine. There was no there was no real world response. The US, the UK and France didn't get together and bomb Russia. And there's obvious reasons for that, sorry. So we'll see what happens in the next coming days, next coming weeks. Particularly going to be interesting around May 14th, May 12th especially, to see what happens with this Iran nuclear deal. But everything's on edge, and we're just waiting to see what happens with Russia, Iran, Syria, and Israel. Once we see things start moving there, then we know that other things are coming not long after that. So, you guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and God bless.